Hey everyone, keep getting a few questions about which hero is the best, who should I level up, who should I start with, who should I go after. I want to cover that. I did previously make a video of all of the heroes and what role they are in. Do go check that video out and you will know who to go after, so to speak, who all is out there, who's available. But this video is more about when you're beginning, who is the sought after heroes. Now, if you click on your cards and click on crew, it's going to show everyone you have, and you have the sort button. And this is a great place to see your cards and click on them and get more information about them. Easiest way to do that. But they're not useful in this area because they're not equipped. They have to be on your ship to actually do anything. So click on your ship, go to your crew, and this is where everyone that's equipped is actually doing things for you. If you're trying to find out base damage of certain towers, keep in mind when you see that card, it's already calculating the hero on the ship. So if you take the hero out and go back and look at the card, you'll notice that it did apply that effect or take that effect away. The easiest way to sort your heroes, new in a recent update, is by group. And also a nice icon on the bottom right of the cards if you're in the ship. And you can see that Berserk Legendary, that top card, is actually area damage, and the 4 cards all together next to him are of area damage as well. Now point that out because you can only have one of each type of hero. And I also want to point this out. If you notice that they seem to be invisible or missing, it's basically just a sync error, so to speak, with the game. Not so much an error, but it's just unable to put those on the ship, and it can be a little frustrating at times. But you know, everything's not perfect. You didn't lose the guy, but he's not applying on your ship. Basically, the best way to just handle that is to just restart the game. It's not too difficult, not too annoying. It only happens if you're constantly changing your heroes, which I guess as you're leveling happens a slight amount, but not overall. And I did kind of force that error. It doesn't happen every single time. Just want to point out that it's a simple fix. Just restart the game. And so if you go back to your ship, go to crew, sort by your group, and you'll see I have none of these 4 on the ship. He is now applied back to the ship. Now another reason why some say your hero disappeared, because say I have I can't remember his name, but this flying guy here, the epic card, and I have 2 available slots. If I put the Berserk on the ship and I don't notice that I did that, say I'm right here, he won't apply to the bottom. Oh, you can only have 1 of each type on the ship at a time. If it doesn't apply and takes him away, that is why. He's of the same group. So that's all it is. So that's why I want to point out, look at the icon, sort by group. Makes it much easier. But the fun part, and the part you've been wanting to see, who is special? Keep in mind the icon on the card. If you scroll down, you'll start to see some of the heroes do not have that icon. These are the guys that are the strongest of their type. There's no other higher person. Of the Duelist, of the Ranger. The Ranger is useless after level 63, but make sure you have him equipped when you're going through the Fog of War. He will save you some silver, but I know those spots are tight on the ship, so just unequip him, and like I showed you just before, just restart the game if you need to make sure he's on or off, and it's actually worthwhile. The Duelist is very useful. He actually will let you fight the PvE map again, the same one over again, which helps you level, which can speed things up. And also in the middle of an event, if that's what you need to do, is fight mini battles, it will help you tremendously. The Warlord, he actually helps you fuse things, so he's very beneficial in this way. I'm going to make this a little bit easier to explain. If we go back to our cards now and go back to crew, I'm going to sort by stars because these are the ones I've obviously leveled up. So highest card I probably have is Warlord, and I'm not sure what the max is, but I can't be very far from it with just 3 levels off. with a full count. He's useful. I wouldn't recommend him going as high as I did, but it definitely helps, of course, if you have a lot of low-level cards. Because he is a green, I believe, is a rare. Basically, he's fairly easy to level up. Every color you go higher, that is a little bit harder to level up. A little bit more XP for each one. Night Queen and Demonologist. There was a recent update that changed Night Queen, and it increases the power of anomalies, which is great. That's definitely a card you want to get. And I believe it goes by count and by experience level. So feeding cards into her to increase that level does actually help that percent. Demonologist, on the other hand, I believe is just by count. So hopefully maxing that count can get to 4. That's the max anomalies. Some other cards, I know some epics you think you'll get a legendary quicker. The Healer and the Raven are 2 of those cards you probably will not do so. And also the Maiden. So if you're looking in the epic, the purple colors, those are the 3 cards that continue to upgrade and go after. Healer, Raven, and Maiden. And once again, the Duelist, that just helps a ton. 97% chance on normal. Pretty much I get to just redo all normal on PvE, which definitely helps in events and leveling up. These 3, they're all of the same group. And to point out, reduce enemy speed by freeze. That is just ground. He does not apply to above and under. He is just ground. So you definitely want to hold on to those. You can only have one at a time. The Witch Doctor, do not forget about this guy as you advance past Poison Cloud, because Curse becomes one of the best spells in the game. It also applies to League Curse. And he is very hard to come by as you get to a higher level. So make sure you seek him and grab as many of his count as you can. I believe that's Amir. He's 89% easier to spot chest on the map. I have the extra slot. Why not have him in there? It just helps speed the game up. Not too useful. You'll probably get a bunch of him, feed him into other spots if needed. Audrey. Great card to get that silver. The silver crunch is tough. Of course, don't spend too much silver to level her up. I think 61 seems to be about where heroes start to slow down. I try to get them to 65, and that seems to be about the sweet spot for most of the cards. And those are the lower level heroes that you want to continue to feed into. So if you get those, just know you'll probably have those a long time. Of course, that's as of today. The game does change rapidly, so keep that in mind. To touch on this a little bit more, as you can see, the ones I have higher are probably the ones of that group that drop, whereas other ones are in special events. There are certain mythicals that do drop rather often. These 3, Wendigo, Chronicle, Nosferatu, and Tarihu. Those actually do drop in the mythical chest as of this time. And Trickster. Fortunately, in an event, I was able to get the League Trickster. So, one of the great cards that you will only see in events is Lady Frost, and the max is 3 upgrades. Common question, how many does it take to get to 2? I do not believe leveling actually matters for Lady Frost, just the count. And 5 of the count is what will get to 2. 3 is the max, and that's probably on the final count. To point out, Fiery Priestess is the card that was missing for the fire group. And so if you get her to level 62, that's the stat you'll see. And I believe that's everything I wanted to point out. Most of the others you will find a replacement rather quick, I believe, in the game. UFO, of course, is a group. You only see those in special events. Pied Piper, did forget to bring him up. He only applies to your overall XP. I believe it's level 37 you actually get him. Level him up rather quickly, because he will speed it up quickly for you. But I maxed him at 60. You don't need to go over that. And it only applies to your overall level, not your towers. So get a couple of him, help you speed that up, because from 60 to 90 it slows down a good bit. But enjoy it, it's fun. Don't try to get there too fast. And Ranger, after level 63, he becomes pointless. Just make sure you have him on your ship when you're going through fog. And I believe that's everyone I want to point out for the most part. Now, of course, if you're playing on the mobile version, I want to point out you can actually click the +1 shard 10 times a day, 10 different cards, heroes, spells, towers, and add +1 to your account until you can get to 10 out of 10 or however many and hit the craft button. So I'm going to see if the additional counts actually help out. And you'll notice once you get into some legendary and mythical, you'll see the smoke puff, and that just means the league or the foil version of each hero. There's not one of every one of those, but if you click the craft button on the right hand side, you'll see if there is a foil version available or not. A new feature is the shadow cards. This is the hero shard. If you get to 100 of these, you can actually treat it as just, basically treats it as an additional legendary card. Does not add 20 to, say if I have 25, I don't get 45 shards. I would literally have to have 100 of these and fuse it to get 10 shards of the Fanatic. It works just as a normal legendary card. And I believe that's it, guys. Just make sure to check the video out. Check the Facebook pages for September 14th from Nival. And you should see all of the heroes that you need. Hopefully this covers it and gives you a good idea where to go from here.